Leslie E. Tatum Henderson.
And we'll hear from you. Yes. Yes.
To my understanding, I can do,
If you don't mind, stand in front,
Okay.
move over a little bit so you can
Right
be in
here?
front of the microphone. You have
Okay.
a very soft voice.
to my understanding, I can speak for 9 minutes and then do my rebuttal for 6.
You can do, you have 15 minutes total. You can divide it up
Oh, okay.
some now to save some, and then after the other side goes, then you could do your rebuttal since you're the appellant. You get to divide it like that. There was a little different on here because we had different parties, but you can save anywhere of your 15 minutes, you can save up to 5 minutes for rebuttal. So
Okay.
you could do 10
So
and 5, or you could do 12 and 3, or.
Okay.
So how much would you like to reserve for rebuttal?
6 minutes will be fine.
Well, 5 is the most we usually let.
5.
5,
I
then
can do
that'll
10
be
and
fine.
5 now. Yeah,
So-
because this is my first time.
Oh,
So
that's fine.
I
There's
just,
no reason to be nervous. We're just here to listen.
Just 3 judges sitting in front of you with black robes, but be calm.
okay. Yeah, I did. I did look at y'all cases online, so I was kind of
All right,
like
so
prepared
you
a
have
little
10
bit.
minutes.
Okay.
And please introduce yourself to start with.
Hi, my name is Leslie Henderson Tatum, however they want to present it, but that's my name. And I'm here on behalf of my divorce case in Chattanooga. And what I wanted to talk about today is that I had hired attorney Jeremy Richards to handle my case because I'm not an attorney. So when I hired this attorney, he missed 3 court dates. I wasn't aware of any of those court dates. I happened to make one of the court dates. So all of this was going on because I caught my ex-husband, Marcelle Tatum, cheating. I gave them all the evidence and proof that I had as far as like the girl sending me papers, harassing me and everything. I even had to go to court about an order of protection. The judge dismissed it. They tried to send me another order of protection. I wasn't aware of that. Jeremy and the other attorney, Amanda Morrison, they were talking, never told me about anything that was going on. At that time, Marcelle had the house in bankruptcy. I couldn't do anything about that till they got a release. He put a code on it. Then when I found out about all this after a year later, I had to start catching up the mortgage payments, the house payments. He was also going in our account, giving this female money. It was just a lot going on, a lot with me, with my kids, my grandkids. I was so stressed out about a lot of this stuff, so I just had to start handling a lot of this stuff. I spent a lot of money on attorney fees. I had to end up turning in one of the attorneys to the board. They working on that. They never did give me time to like try to refinance the house, and then when I was going to try to do all this stuff, he ruined some of my credit. The judge at that time, he was saying that I didn't have enough time to try to refinance the house, but I was trying to get at least a year to get my credit straight, to get everything done. I'm still in the house, still trying to get a lot of things done because this is a house that I picked out. He abandoned the house. He chose to abandon the house, not me. So I'm still living in the house, taking care of the house. I end up paying the vehicles off. It's just, he just basically just left me in a bind, all because I caught him cheating. Had my son living with him, trying to turn my kids against me. It was just devastating, you know. My son was 3 when I got with him. I had done been with him like 20-some years. I thought maybe this was the man that I was going to be with for the rest of my life. I tried to be quiet about a lot of stuff, not talk to people about it. He was just trying to rule. I had to end up leaving my job, go to another job. It just, I'm still a nervous wreck trying to get all this straight. Like I said, and I don't know too much about the law, about a lot of things. That's the reason why I was trying to look up a lot of things, do some things on my own to try to get this back in court to get it correctly. Because like I said, I was able to file all these papers to bring it to the courts today because I didn't understand a lot of things that was going on. The discovery papers that I filled out, my attorney never turned those in, never turned the pictures in. He never did a lot of stuff. He ended up going to work for a DA's office in Cleveland, never got in contact with me. One of my friends ended up calling me, let me know I had a court date. I ended up showing up for court for that date, and then had to get rid of that attorney, get another attorney. And then that attorney told me because of the first attorney messed up a lot of things, it made it look bad for me, like I had done something wrong. But in other words, I didn't. So today I am asking not to be put out my home because I want to keep my home, and I don't think he deserved to live there because he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to try to help me pay any bills this whole time with the house situation. Now, he's not even trying to like pay part of the house to keep the house from going into foreclosure. And it seemed like to me, he just wanted the house to go into foreclosure. Well, neither one of us would get the house. If I hadn't made arrangements with the mortgage company to start paying on the house, that they would have just came to take the house, and my credit would have been ruined worse than what it is. And he's still running around town with this female, and not even trying to even go online to even try to pay part of the house note where I can pay the other half, and I think that would even try to make it better to catch the house note up. But like he said, he want the house, and a judge is forcing me, telling me that I need to move out of home that I picked that he didn't want. And I just think that's unfair for my grandkids not to have nowhere to come. It's just like I said, this whole situation is just awful. Me and him couldn't even communicate, couldn't even talk, couldn't even sit down, because he's dealing with this female, and this female doesn't even know me. He has brought this female to the house. He has brought her sister to the house. He has brought her brother to the house. I wasn't aware of any of this stuff until I happened to catch him over here at an apartment with this woman. And I understand the laws might say, hey, I'm supposed to give him half, or however we supposed to split everything, but I want to remain in my home because it'll cost me more to move from my home than for me to stay in this home. I'm trying to think what else did I have to say. And as far as like the utilities and stuff like that, he left me with all these back utilities, insurance that he had on me and my son. He stopped paying that. He stopped paying the phone bills. He stopped paying a lot of things, and it just left a lot on me to have to do. And I think as far as like in a marriage, we supposed to split like half and half, but he stopped doing it. I even got a letter of his cousin harassing me. The girl went to some attorney and said something and had something sent certified in the mail to me. I didn't know anything about that. He ended up getting a part-time job. I'm the one asked him to get a part-time job at the airport, and that's where he met this female, and they started having an affair. At that time, when I got the phone back, which I put that in my papers, about 5 or 6 different women started calling on the phone, harassing me. I didn't even know these women. These women knew more about me and my kids than I knew about them. He left me with credit card debt. He took some of the credit card debt, but he didn't take all of it. And the thing about the bankruptcy, I thought that was very fraudulent, the way he did the bankruptcy and the way he cut me out of all of it, where I couldn't even contact these people to find out what was going on. But eventually, once we went to court, the judge made him, I guess, take the house out of bankruptcy. And then once he got the house out of bankruptcy, I was able to communicate with them and talk to them and try to get all the payments lowered to where I can pay it to keep them from foreclosure on the house. So all I'm asking is for the court just to give me some time where I can remain in my home, because I do not want to have to move, because it would cost me more to move than to stay in my home. Because right about now, getting a one-bedroom apartment will cost me like $1,800. But for me to stay in my home, it'll cost me like $1,000 to stay there with paying the lights and the water and catching up all the other debt that he left for me to pay, while I guess he's living with his mother or living with somebody, but he's not paying anything. That's all.
You have your 5 minutes for rebuttal after they go.
Okay.
I'm sorry, is it Ms. Tatum or Ms. Henderson?
It's Tatum on my driver's license.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I just, sure, sir. We'll hear from the appellee.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I'm Chrissy Mincy from the Hamilton County Bar, and I represent the appellee, Marcelle Tatum, in this matter. Your Honor, I've struggled to know how to respond to Ms. Tatum's brief because it does not cite any law or any rule. And I know that the court gives wide latitude and discretion to pro se parties. So I am attempting to cut through some of that and guess as to the rule in which the court will use to determine whether the underlying trial court abused its discretion. I'm interpreting her argument as an argument that the trial court should be, that the order should be set aside as it was entered on a default. That standard, Your Honors, is abuse of discretion, and she has to prove a meritorious defense. Most of the arguments as contained in her brief and as contained in her oral argument, none of those things are in the records, Your Honor. There's a lot of facts that she is arguing that I would submit, most of which are not true. It's not supported by the record as well. So I would ask that those not be considered, and I know Your Honors know that rule of procedure very well. I am also asking for attorney's fees in this, and I know that Your Honors have found her indigent for the purposes of this appeal based on her uniform affidavit of indigency, which is in the record and supports the fact that she likely will not be able to refinance this home. She did admit in her argument that all she's asking, Your Honors, is to let her stay in the house. She knows that the law says that she may have to split it and he gets half, but she just wants some additional time. And Your Honor, Williams sets out the standard for attorney's fees is whether or not the appeal is frivolous, devoid of merit, or taken solely for the purpose of delay. And Ms. Tatum admits before this court that she is taking this appeal solely for the purpose of delay. Another factor regarding setting aside a default judgment, Your Honors, is the prejudice to the plaintiff. And in this case, the plaintiff is prejudiced. The largest asset of the marriage is the house. It was ordered to be sold. It was ordered to be divided equally, just as Ms. Tatum admits she knows the law says. She was ordered to vacate by the end of May last year. The first time the trial court awarded Mr. Tatum the residence was the end of October in 2023. We are now almost a year and a half after the initial order awarding him this home. There is no post-judgment interest that he can collect. The equity is the equity, and it needs to be sold so that they can move forward. Looking at the record, Your Honors, the trial court has support for its decision in this matter. There was a complaint for divorce filed, an answer and counter complaint, and then discovery was sent to Ms. Tatum. It is clear that she did not answer that discovery, and sanctions were ordered pursuant to Rule 37. After that, the default hearing was held, where the trial court equitably divided the property. Ms. Tatum then hired a different attorney. At that point, she raised 5 different issues with the trial court's order. Those 5 issues were then addressed by the trial court. She obtained relief on some of them as well, including regarding the real property. Initially, when the real property was awarded to Mr. Tatum in October of 2023, the house was involved in a bankruptcy. And so the order did not provide that it was to be sold at that time because it was in the bankruptcy proceeding. However, subsequently, the bankruptcy proceeding was dismissed and no longer active. At that point, the trial court ordered that the house be sold, that Ms. Tatum had to vacate by a date certain, which was in May of 2024. That did not occur. Your Honors, my client filed a petition for contempt in the trial court, and she asked for a stay. That stay has been filed and is in your record as well. That is that he also requested that this court lift the stay and allow this house to be sold and the equity obtained and preserved until the ruling. I understand that Ms. Tatum is making an argument that she believes that this has been fundamentally unfair. But there is support in the record for the trial court's findings that her failure to respond was willful. She mentioned the order of protection. What she did not mention is contained within the record is an email from her attorney admitting they showed up. She was the respondent. They showed up for the order of protection hearing, found out that she had not been properly served, and left the courthouse. This was all during the same time that she was failing to answer discovery. I would argue that the standard for Rule 60 relief has not been met by Ms. Tatum, that the trial court was within its discretion to find that her failure to respond was willful, that she has not presented a meritorious defense, and that my client is suffering prejudice. If the court has any questions, I'll be happy to answer, but
I hear none.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tatum, you have your 5 minutes for rebuttal.
What she was saying today about me not showing up in court. I didn't show up in court because my attorney didn't notify me. And no, that's not true about the discovery papers. I gave my attorney the discovery papers. He never turned them in. Then when I tried to bring them to court to give to the attorney, she wouldn't take them. All of this that she's saying is incorrect. I had to represent myself and come in front of this court now because once I read my whole file, everything that was going on between those 2 attorneys, my attorney never let me know what was going on, never let me know about the court dates. I had to start calling down at the courts to find out about those dates. He never did show up for anything. Then all of a sudden, he dropped out. The judge that day went off on him in the courtroom and got on him for not coming there to represent me. And I couldn't talk in the courtroom because I had an attorney. But I can speak now. And as far as like the bankruptcy, he filed bankruptcy. He did all of this stuff behind my back. And I was unaware of all of these mischievous, low-down things that he is doing. That's the reason why I turned in all the paperwork, got all the evidence. Everything is in the paperwork now and down there at the courthouse. You can read everything in there. And this lady right here, she's going to do whatever she can to defend him. I think he should pay me alimony. He should be paying my attorney fees because I am the one that's out of a lot of money. I'm the one that has spent about $15,000 on a attorney fees like I did something wrong when this man, Mr. Marcelle, who I was married to, is the one that has ruined me, has devastated my kids, got my kids all upset, my grandkids all upset, and you think I just supposed to just pack my things and just live out on the street?
Ma'am,
I think that's unfair.
talk to us.
Yeah, I just think this just unfair. So I had to figure out how to fill out all this paperwork, how to come to the courtroom and state my opinion and bring all the facts. I'm not making up any of these things. I'm not making up anything. I brought all the facts. I filled out all the paperwork. I took the time out to get all the pictures, all the evidence, talk to the realtor company, trying to pay off all these credit cards, trying to pay off these bills, and all they want to do is just bash me like I'm a bad person. I think it's unfair. But Judge Bennett, when I went back in front of him, filed for the motion, and he did allow me to come and file these papers and bring it up higher. Mr. Newkirk even told me that my first attorney is the one that ruined all this for me, for not answering any phone calls, for not filling out all the paperwork in court, for not doing all of this stuff. I'm not an attorney. That's the reason why I hired him to handle my case. I can only do so much. And I know I want to abide by the laws, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair for him to get any other house because what he did to me, should nobody be allowed to do that to nobody. He just walked away. He don't want this house. If he wanted this house, he would at least be trying to pay something on this house. He hasn't paid a dime on this house since they have released it from bankruptcy. All he cared is about getting a few dollars. But as far as like maintaining the house, I done had to maintain a lot of things in that house to keep it up apart. He haven't cut any grass. He haven't seen about anything. I have had a lot of problems with this house to get it fixed up to stay in it. So I'm just asking the court to at least just look over my paperwork and everything. And I think he should be made to pay me some of my money back, pay me alimony, because he has ruined my credit. He has ruined everything I have. But if I have time, I'll be able to get my credit together where I can refinance the house, because I did talk to the banks, and it's just a few more things that I just have to get off my credit, and I'll be able to keep it. But right about now, the interest rate is real high. So if I try to do it right now, it's just like I'm paying double for a house than trying to go get me another house. And thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tatum, let me explain to you how it's okay, you can sit down. Let me explain to you how the process is and what will happen now. You may already know this, but I want to make sure that you understand. We'll take the case under advisement, and then we'll reach a decision on your appeal, and we'll prepare a written decision, and we'll send it to you and counsel at the same time.
I understood.
Okay.
I read up on it, so I understood.
I'm sorry, I can't.
I read it. I read how the procedures
Oh, okay.
work, and I
All right.
understand it.
Okay, good. I wanted to be sure. We wanted to be sure you did.
I did. I read up on it.
Okay, thank you. Y'all are excused.